Hello, I'm Stingle, and thank you for watching. The guitar I played yesterday, I already did a rundown on, but I've got it here to basically talk about the neck. This is a non-tilt ESP banana neck from late '83, early '84. At that time, if you bought a Pacer guitar, the same time that the Holy Grail guitars were coming out, it came with this thinner ESP neck with the block logo. And that's what you would have gotten before they switched to the tilted. And the reason they started the tilted because it was cheaper to produce. This neck is one piece of wood, the whole thing. It has no skunk stripe on it. It's a very nice neck. Now, a few months into '84, that's when Kramer introduced the tilted necks. And they had Lutheran joints. This is a early tilted neck that came from the sports company. You could see how transparent the logo is, as these early ones came with those. And they had the skunk stripe. I mean the Lutheran joint. You could see some repair work on this one. I had gotten this one broken and repaired it. I had to re-glue where it had broken, and then I had to re-drill and re-countersink the holes so they would line up. The nut would be tight up against the fretboard. And this is an R5 width. This is an R5 width neck. The problem I had with it was this thing had a bow in it. You might be able to see it. It's still kind of there a little bit. Now, because of my arthritis, my guitar action has to be extremely low for me to play the way I do. And what I did with this neck was I removed the frets. I labeled each fret exactly where it went. And then I planed the fretboard to even it out, because it had that, you know, that back bow in it that wouldn't come out with the truss rod adjustment. And I did all that, and I put all the frets back in and redressed it again. And it wasn't quite good enough. So I removed the frets in another section and planed that section and then redressed the whole neck again. And I put it on a guitar, but I could not get the action down close enough for me. So for me to ever use this guitar neck, I would have to repeat that process. And this time I'm going to plane an actual, you know, an actual bow in the neck so I can use the truss rod to bring it up to level. But this is a example of what the first tilteds were coming out of sports. And then there was the glue problem. I think Kramer, in their infinite wisdom, decided that they were going to use cheaper glue to try to save money. And the glue was no good. And the Lutheran joints were separating. And people went crazy. You know, they had this brand new Kramer, and the neck is coming apart. The fretboard would raise off the neck. It was really bad. Most people didn't have the the skills to repair it, which probably, looking back, would have been the thing to do, because these warranty guitars came in, and they were in the factory a very long time. It wasn't like Kramer was just turning them around, sending them out with new necks. There are some that were warranted that had Lucido banana necks, but most weren't warranted until late 85, early 86, when they brought the pointies in. So these people that had Berettas that had bought it with a banana headstock were getting them back with pointy necks. Not very popular. So, in 85, most necks that Kramer put out were made by Lucido in Canada. This particular neck is stamped July 4th, 1985. So this was literally born on the 4th of July in Canada. And this is the Lucido tilted headstock. You can see it's tilted. And that's the shape that you have, you know, on your Gibson Kramers that's coming out now. Gibson retained the right to this headstock when they bought the rights to the company. This particular neck is very interesting. It was never used because this was a proposed solution to Lutheran joint weakness. And if you look very closely, you can see the Lutheran joint, and then there's a little tab that comes off of it. And that was supposed to make it a little stronger, so it wouldn't be so prone to separating. But Kramer wouldn't use any more Lutheran joint necks after that. After that debacle, they were done with any sort of Lutheran joint neck. So this was never used. It's the solution to the problem. You can see how it's early on. There's not a big flute on there. You know, it's pretty thin. There's a slight one. But this makes this neck like very unique because, you know, they never used these. This one came out at a fire sale. Somebody had gotten it. And I picked it up. And the guy I got it from, Chris in Pennsylvania, was very nice about it. I did not have PayPal at the time. I was trying to go through somebody else to buy it. And he agreed to sell it to me for $500. But I couldn't come up with the money very quickly. And he actually waited for me to get my stuff together to send him the money. Even though he probably could have sold it for a lot more money. I was very grateful for this. We had shared photographs of different guitar parts and guitars we had. And he liked the look of this one body I had. Was a 2020 Beretta, Beretta special body that I had drilled, clearanced, laid out the Floyd, installed Floyd, taken it out, this and that. I couldn't get the sound I really liked out of it because in 2020 they started chambering those bodies. So there's a chamber in there. And I found this out like kind of the hard way. I was drilling the Floyd stud hole through, and you'd get through part of it, and then all of a sudden it'd be, down to the next level. I was like, oh man. But it didn't affect the strength of the stud. And he expressed interest in the body, and I ended up, by the time I was done, I put a non-tilt pointy ESP, which is a focus neck, on there, and threw a Floyd on it, tuners, put it all together, and sent it to him with a 70s Schaller Golden 50 pickup, which I sent to Fralin to have wax potted. 2 of them, as a matter of fact. Well, he plays through, boutique amps, the, quasi-modelers. So that Schaller pickup didn't really work with his setup. So he took it out and he put in a hotter pickup, and he really loves the guitar to this day. And he sent me that pickup back. Now, mind you, that pickup's probably worth a couple $100. They're like kind of hard to find. And it had a really nice sound. And right before I sent it, I had put that piece of wood in the body between the body and the pickup. And it came to life. It didn't squawk or squeal or super trebly, you know, overtone, nothing. It was, you know, it was like, it sounded really good. Not as good as the 78. You don't get that kind of really blooming, splitting feedback, but it was nice. And he actually sent that back to me. And I told him you could just have it, because I'm just happy with him having the guitar. He's an Air Force veteran. His foot actually got run over by an F-15 on an aircraft carrier, because he was one of the guys that did the chocks guiding the planes. I could not imagine doing anything like that. But my heart's out to him. Totally support the veterans. Somebody that would be in the service. My father, who has since passed on, he trained for the invasion of Japan for the Navy. He was a Navy pilot, and he would describe what it was like landing a plane on a carrier. And he said, "Well, the carrier's doing this, and the plane's doing that, and it's like, you know, trying to get Jello to stick to the wall, you know, land on that flight deck." But yeah, we didn't have the invasion of Japan, and truthfully, I probably wouldn't be here if they did. But yeah, you know, so it struck a chord with me, and he's a great guy. And the last neck in this conversation is this. This is very, very rare. This is a 12-string neck from a Farrington guitar. Now, Farrington were kind of a semi-acoustic, a thin-line acoustic that Kramer put out for a while. Nothing really to write home about. They didn't really sound so great acoustically. You could plug them in. You know, you still see them around. But not the 12-string version. They made very few of these. And the necks they put on the Farringtons are electric guitar necks, just like would go on a Beretta or a Pacer or, you know, Vanguard, Voyager, Condor, pretty much the same neck. I got this for $100. Of course, it was during the coof thing, but still. So what I'm going to do with this neck and this neck is I'm going to have Kyle down at Dive Bomb make me a custom poplar body shaped like the 82 Pacer Special, but widened out to fit the two necks. This is a fixed bridge 12-string 178 Seymour Duncan Custom Shop Marcelo Juarez pickup. This one is going to have the same pickup in both with just bridge pickups, and this is going to have the Floyd Rose route. So that's kind of an aspiration of me building, you know, a double neck Kramer that's, you know, poplar. It's going to be as light as it can be. And the wiring is just going to be one 3-way switch for the two pickups. So you can't get any easier wiring than that. So that's my plan with those necks. I hope you found that interesting. Thank you for all my subscribers. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Thank you for watching, enjoying my videos. That's like terrific for me. You know, and leaving the comments. It's terrific. And I hope you found that interesting. And have a nice day. And rock on.